Hi everybody, this is Ellie. Thanks so much for joining me today for a Plan With Me video. This Plan With Me is a little bit different than the ones that I've previously done. Instead of planning ahead for the week to come and setting up my dailies, I'm actually going to show you how I do my evening planning routine. I wasn't in a great mood on Thursday evening and I didn't feel like going through my typical routine, which is fine. I gave myself permission to let that go, but I figured I could film this process and just talk about what it looks like for me. You'll see me do some writing in this video, and I know the way that I hold my pen looks incredibly uncomfortable in that kind of death grip in my fist, but I promise you that it isn't. So usually the first thing that I do when I sit down with my bullet journal in the evening is to go through my task list. So I'll add to my task list usually the evening before and throughout the day as things come up. I think if I had planned ahead to do this video, this task list would have looked a little bit different because if you look at it, nothing on it has been completed. I've migrated 4 items, crossed off 1, and partially completed 2 of them. And that's okay. That's just what happens with plans sometimes. They don't get completed, they get moved, they get rearranged, and we work with that. I do make sure that I know which day I'd like to migrate my tasks to before I draw the arrow to indicate they've been migrated, because if I draw the arrow before I'm ready to write that task down, sometimes I forget and things slip through the cracks. At the bottom of my task list there, I've just drawn a $sign and I write the amount that I've spent at the end of each day. I'm just checking out my tip-in that I have in the back that holds my Harry Potter lettering challenge, which is adapted from one of Cindy Contart-Baldo's old challenges. The character name today is Sirius Black, and I've just turned my insert around so that I can write it underneath my task list. I don't have a set spot for my lettering challenges. I like to look at the page and just see where there's space and see what I feel like. I think it's fun to have that flexibility and to mix it up. I really enjoy hand lettering practice. I think that it's so much fun, and I like that I keep it easy with a challenge that already has the words for the month chosen for me. I was watching Brandy Michelle Plan's recent flip through, and what she's done is actually pulled words from her day to hand letter, and that seems like a really fun idea that I might try in the future as well. In terms of lettering styles themselves, I have a few that I'm comfortable with and others I look to Pinterest for, so it just depends on what I'm in the mood for. I've pulled out my favorite doodle book, How to Draw Almost Every Day, which was a recommendation from Emily at Emmylou Arts ages ago. It's so much fun and the doodles are so cute. So the 13th, 14th, and 15th are all a combination of tickets. So I've found a paper bag that I have from an old order, and I'm using that because I want something that isn't white and that's nice and thin. This is actually the first doodle that I've done that hasn't been drawn directly on my bullet journal pages. She had cards last month, I think, but instead of actually making cards, I just drew cards and filled them in right on the page itself. So this was a fun interactive element. I did try to think, because it's a train ticket, of destinations that I've been to or that I want to go to, but in these pandemic times it was just a little bit strange and hard, so I had fun drawing the bullet train that she has as an example in the book. I'm using my trusty Uni-Signo in the 0.38 and colored pencils from ARTEZA. These pencil crayons came in a set of 72, but I've just chosen, I think, 10 or 11 colors that matched as best I could the colors that Kamo uses in her book, and I like having those already pulled out for me so that way I don't have to dig around and choose every evening. I knew that I wanted to glue this ticket at the top of my page, so I kind of eyeballed the size when I cut it out, and I'm happy with the fit. If you watched my July flip through, you'll have seen that I had my page separated into 2 columns. I had tasks on the left side, and below that, jot notes about things that happened that day, and on the right side, I did my journaling. I still have my page set up in 2 columns, but I haven't felt like journaling much in August, and that's okay. I've been giving myself grace, and instead focusing on what's bringing me joy, which has been playing around with those jot notes and just having fun with them. I like using this style of handwriting, which to me is kind of what I imagine hand lettering would be with a proper brush pen, except I'm just doing it with my everyday pen, and I like the look of that. I'm just writing down literally things that happened that day. I took a morning walk, I did some laundry, my mom was making banana muffins for my brother to take camping, so I was very happy to volunteer as the taste tester. These notes aren't very detailed, they're meant to be a snapshot, but I do write sentences or bullet points underneath if I'd like to add any more detail. You're about to watch me lose lettering chicken here, as I somehow thought the word announcement, or at least half of it, was going to fit in this space. I mean, I make it fit, it's not exactly pretty or evenly spaced, but that's okay, it was never meant to be perfect. As I finish up with my writing, I pull out my Tombow in the N89 to add a little bit of emphasis. I do like to draw a line that separates my left-hand column from my right-hand column. I realized that I did my nighttime routine yesterday, so I checked that off, and I've pulled out some of the stickers I'm using in August to see if there's anything that goes with this page. I know I've seen a baking sticker in here somewhere, so I search for that and I find a couple of little transparent stickers, one that says "It's delicious," and the other one that is technically a cupcake because it has icing, but I thought it was close enough to represent my banana muffins. This page is simple and I like how it makes the hand lettering stand out. I've opened up my Tombow again to fill in the letters of Serious Black, to emphasize them and add a little bit of color or dimension to the page, I should say. I like how it stands out but is still very subtle and monochromatic. You see me and some frizzy hair popping in as I highlight over banana muffins. Those really were a highlight of my day, guys. And just quickly add a little bit of shadowing to the words at the bottom. Once I finished my daily page, I go to my August task list and Calendex. I just take a look at the task list, see if I worked on or completed anything, and I cross off the day so I know where I am in the calendar. In the Calendex, I just like to write a couple of moments from the day just so that it gives me kind of that snapshot memory again. We're flipping over to my August calendar page, which I come to every morning as part of my morning routine to read my goals and see if anything's scheduled that day. In the evening, I might check off an Instagram post if it went up, or an appointment that was completed. This next spread is one of my all-time favorites. It's my memories spread, and I try to include something that I appreciate, whether that's something good or whether it was a challenging and learning moment. Thursdays was a lovely memory of hanging out with my mom and just enjoying some quality time together. And we've come to my trackers spread, which is another spread I truly enjoy. I start off with my daily habits. I just go down the list and mark an X on any habit that I was able to get to that day. After that, I check out my weekly goals, again to see if there's anything I can check off. And lastly, my monthly or long-term goals. I did make progress on a couple of those goals on Thursday, so I filled in my progress bar with my Tombow. You'll see me here realizing that I forgot to check off my hand lettering for the day, so I go back to do that because it's just easier for me to see where I am every day if the check marks are there. I've come back to my daily page to put the bookmark in and realized that I wanted to outline my train ticket to make it look a little bit more intentional and like it's a part of the page. I like to do kind of overlapping loose lines so that I don't need to worry about being perfect. And there I am again, some frizzy hair popping in and out as I do that kind of jagged part. And finally, I flip to my weekly task list. I check out my Rowling weekly to see if there's anything I worked on, and there is, so I marked that in. I also check out my tasks to see if there's anything I want to work on the next day, so I can write that down as well. That's pretty much what I do every evening in my planner. The order may change a little bit, but the guts are the same. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.